When you think of the city of Philly, you think of a lot of musical artists like Lil Uzi Vert, Jill Scott, The Roots, Eve, and more. But we got to add another Hall of Famer to this list. Welcome to the show, GoGo Morrow. How you doing today?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here.
Good. So your new project is called Ready.
Yes.
Were you ready for all of this that's happened to date?
I think I am. I think I think I am now. I don't know if I always was, but yes, I think I'm ready now.
Yeah. When I look at your story, I smile because you have really, when we say started from the bottom, now I'm here.
Yeah.
You have that story because it just seems like when I think of you, I think of determination and talking about your humble beginnings because you really made your city know who you were.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your beginnings in Philly. How did you know that you wanted to be a singer?
I've always loved singing ever since I was like a really little girl. As I got older, I guess I started, I don't know where fear of it came from, fear of like being in the forefront. I'm naturally like kind of a shy person. So I was just like, I don't know that I want to be a singer or if I just want to be in music. So
right.
I eventually started educating myself. I went to school for music business and I was just like, yeah, I think I'll be like an A&R or something. And it wasn't until I got my first like professional job as a background singer for Lady Gaga that I realized like, no, this is really what I want. Like I want to do what she's doing. I want to impact people the same way.
So let's stop. Your first job was with Lady Gaga.
Yeah, my first.
Everybody don't get like those first jobs. How did that happen?
I went to, it's such a long story, but I went to a different audition. I went to an audition that one of my friends told me about out here in New York, and it was for Kelly Rowland. She was looking for background singers. And so I went, and I hadn't heard anything back for maybe a week or so. So I just assumed I didn't get the job. And then I got a call from Kelly Rowland's music director, who was also Lady Gaga's music director. And he was like, unfortunately, I can't offer you the Kelly Rowland position, but I do have something else you might be interested in. I'm also music director for Lady Gaga, and I think it would be a great fit. And so, yeah. And of course, I said yes right away. And he was like, no, I really need you to think about it. You'll be gone a long time. And we were gone a long time. She tours for a long time. I was gone for over a year. We took like short breaks in between, but that was like my first thing. I like left my family, that was like the first time I had ever done anything on my own.
I want to go back and talk about Lady Gaga, but before that, that job, your presence in Philly, and where did you get the voice from? Did you sing in church?
Yeah.
Where did it start?
Yeah, I sang in church, not of course, but I started singing in church, but even before that, I come from a very musical family. My uncles, my cousins, my father, they all do music. So my dad is my first music teacher. He's the one who taught me how to sing.
That's cool.
And yeah, he would give us me and my sisters, he would give us small incentives if we repeated after him properly. So that was like I think that was my first encounter with music, just hearing my dad sing around the house and him incentivizing me with like small gifts to do the same. And then, of course, I got in choir in church. And then when I was 10, I auditioned for a musical theater program for children, and I got in that. And so that just was me honing all my skills together, my dance and theater and music all in one place. Yeah.
You've been determined from the beginning, though.
Yeah.
That's good. And how was it? I guess being from Philly, you see all these great artists, musicians. Was that an extra push for you just to say, I want to be an artist as well?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we have a lot of great, iconic artists who come from our city. So, yeah, seeing them is definitely inspiration for me, and it's big shoes to fill. Yeah. And I appreciate like the music history of our city so much. So, yeah, for sure.
I love that you've been on stages with the Roots Picnic, Made in America. When I look at your team is really thick and big with Harmony, H. Money Samuels, Kenya Barris, on the project, Teddy Riley, Symba.
Yeah.
These meetings, how did these meetings take place? Right time, right place, or Or what?
Yeah, it's always a little bit of that right time, right place, and fate and everything else. But my producer, Harmony Samuels, he's my executive producer, and I trust him so much musically that he'll have an idea and I'll follow suit. If I have an idea, he'll hear me out and follow suit. So we have a really, really good musical relationship. And, he's like my brother in real life too. So we have a really good partnership, and we're just so creative together. So a lot of those concepts come from him. Some of them come from me. The Teddy Riley thing was all him. He's Teddy Riley's mentee. And so he's like, I want to bring back this New Jack Swing sound, and I'm going to get Uncle Teddy involved. And I was like, you think he'll do it for me? And he did so graciously and promoted the record. So
he's
that
a
was
legend.
I'm still, when I think about the fact that I have a song with Teddy Riley on it, it's still mind-blowing to me.
When we look at the album Ready, what was, were you in the studio when the song New was produced?
Yes. It was all like, the way me and Harmony work is kind of all on the spot. Like, we'll be talking and then he'll have an idea. I mean, sometimes he'll have an idea before I get there, but there's not really one process, but most of the time we're all in the room just creating, and then we start with nothing and end up with a masterpiece.
What have you learned working with someone with so many accolades as Harmony, working with him as far as your work ethic?
Yeah, I've learned so much from Harmony. I can't even think about one thing.
Right.
I mean, he really challenges me, and I'm so thankful for that, because I love to be challenged, and I don't always love it in the moment.
Yeah.
But I love to be challenged, and so he always pushes me vocally, and I'm so used to vocal producing myself for years. I didn't really have anybody to do that, and so he vocal produces me now, and it makes all the difference in how I deliver music and how people hear it.
That's beautiful. I'm going to go back to Lady Gaga. So you were on the road with Gaga, and you touring now. What tools have you applied from being on tour with her? And also, let me add the Kanye West Sunday Service Choir. What have you used from those experiences to now being on tour?
I think the number one lesson I've taken from those experiences is to just be ready for whatever at all times, because everything is always fast-paced moving. Like, we just got here to New York just an hour ago, and now we're here interviewing. And although I'm not like dressed ready, but like, it's just the biggest lesson I've always learned is to like stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah. And I think you are dressed right, because as an artist, I wanted to ask you, being an all-around artist, you have on GoGo Morrow. Merch. When did you pick that up?
When did I?
As far as like being an all-around artist, working with giants like Gaga and Kanye West and Harmony.
Yeah, I mean, the branding is like everything. Branding is so important, especially when you're on the rise like me. Just that, like just wearing your shirt. It's something as simple as that. Somebody like, what does that say? And then that's a way to brand it, or they might see it and just Google. You know what I mean? So everything is something. You got to always be thinking.
And I think that, you came in a time, as far as an artist, that social media is big. And you just were discovered by your first manager through YouTube, correct?
Yeah.
How did you embrace social media? Do you still embrace social media?
To an extent, I embrace social media to an extent. I like it could just depend on what you're feeding yourself. It can be exhausting or it could be rewarding. And I try to curate my Instagram and my TikTok and Twitter that it's, it makes me feel good. And so I definitely use it as a marketing tool for myself. And I don't really try to spend too much other time on it other than that.
You got to have a downtime. Separating.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your project Ready. One of the songs that's really big is with Symba. How did that collaboration take place?
Yeah, so that song has been in the works for almost 2 years. Me and Harmony, that was Harmony's idea. He was like, I want to do this. I want to sample Dr. Dre. And at first I was just like, I'm from Philly, How does this make sense for me? He was like, trust me, just trust me. And the song wasn't even created yet, but he had the idea in his head. And then I came to the studio one day and he was creating the beat. And I was like, okay, I might be a believer now. And then we wrote the record. And so then we had the challenge of clearing it. So that was in the works. But in the meantime, we were thinking about features. And he was like, who do you want on it? And I was like, naming people that we couldn't afford. He was like, come on, go. You got to be realistic. And I was like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. And so he came back to me and was like, there's this fire new rapper. His name's Symba. And I was like, oh, I just saw him because he works with some people from, at the time, I don't know if he still does, but he's working with some people from Philly. I was like, oh, I've heard of him. He was like really fire. So the idea of like two rising artists I thought was really cool. And he did the record with like, he didn't even know who I was at all. And he was like, I love the record. I believe in it. And so I want to be a part of it. And during the time of us waiting to get it cleared, and from the moment he did it and we were still waiting to get cleared, Symba just grew out of nowhere. So I was just like, is he still going to want to be a feature? And he wanted to, and he supported it. He still supports it, and we perform it. Like any chance we get, if we're somewhere together, we perform the record together. So I love Symba. He's like my favorite rapper. I tell him that all the time.
Bay Area artist.
Bay Area. He's like so fire, and so I think he has definitely made the record.
Thank you for giving us so many visuals. Was that important for you for this project?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Visuals are very important to me. Like that's what I grew up watching, grew up inspired by watching music videos and my favorite artists and I was like a nerd when I was a kid, so I would stay home all day and watch videos and movies. So all of visuals are everything to me. Like, and I have such a clear, when I hear a song, I'm like, I see what this is supposed to be. And so me and Harmony collab on that as well. We're like, I have this treatment that I want to do. So I'll write a treatment. He'll look at it and like, okay, let's add or let's take away this. And so, yeah, the concepts were
that's dope. And you dance. Like you really dance.
Yeah.
When do you find time from touring, like finding time to just practice on your dance work?
I'm going to be honest, I have to do better at that. I just told one of my choreographers that I want to start taking class more with him just so I can tighten up my skill a bit. But anything you see now is kind of just natural from me dancing my whole life.
That Philly vibe.
Yeah. I mean, I took dance classes when I was younger. So it's a skill I learned when I was younger that I just carry with me.
That's what's up. Mm-hmm. And before we get out of here, I would love to know, you've been on a lot of different stages. And as an artist, making moments are important. Yeah. To date, what's been your fun moments?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. There's so many. I can't pick one. Every show is different for me because I'm not in a position yet where I can control everything that happens to me on stage or everything that happens in the process of me getting to a stage. So everything is new every single day. Like this tour, every show has been different. Every audience has been different. And some are more excited than others, and some are, more subdued. Some people are just watching, observing, like, do I like her? Do I not? And I'm just learning to appreciate each and every one of those experiences. So I really can't pick out one. They're just always fun.
When you went to your hometown in Philly?
Philly is top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Philly was top 3. And so far, Philly was like number 1 on this tour, and North Carolina showed me a lot of love. Like down south, and that was my first time touring as a solo artist in those places down south. So they really showed me love. I was like, kind of nervous, like how would they receive me?
And I'm sure you're on tour with Eric Bellinger and Trevor Jackson.
Yeah.
Being the only female, how is that? Just being the queen to be on tour.
Listen, me and my dancers, we're loving it. They treat us like that, queens. They're making sure we're good. It's a great sense of community. Eric has been great. He gives great advice. If anything goes wrong, they're asking how we can help. They've been so accommodating. Like his whole team, Trevor's whole team, everybody has been amazing. So it's been a really good experience on and off the stage.
That's beautiful. You are inspiring for rising artists and maybe artists who don't even think that they could be an artist. Yeah. Any words of wisdom to artists who are just trying to come up and be heard?
Yeah. The best piece of advice I can give you is don't stop. That's all I can say. And that's my song title too.
Yeah.
But just don't stop, because, you know, I always say it's like a science. You know, anything that can happen will happen, Murphy's Law. But if you just keep at the same thing, eventually you'll see some results.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. We definitely support you here at the Hybrid Soul and Taste Radio.
Thank you.
We're looking for more tours, more music. Go get the project ready from GoGo Morrow.
Yes.
And it's the Hybrid Soul, your destination for R&B discovery. And this is the one. I'm Kelly Kinkaid. Thank you.